Hello there and welcome to the After Dark Magnet Mayhem stream. This one's happening a little spontaneous. I think I warned yesterday that the streams would be a little spontaneous. And yeah, we'll get right to mixing some green stuff shortly. Thanks for coming though, apparently. It looks like just one person's here. Thank you for coming. You'll probably hear me give the intro again when some more people show up. Alright, just making sure my posts went through. Alright, let's turn the phone off ring. Lower the holding screen. Hello, Nathaniel. Thanks for coming. Nice, good work. Alright, well, before I crack this conch, I should probably reset the old burp counter. Made it to 6 last night. Oh, gotta turn numlock off. There we go. Hopefully that crack wasn't too loud. It was right next to the mic. So, I guess one thing I could have used when I was promoting this stream right now is this. There's gonna be some 100 Kingdoms models shown, because I got some of them that need to be magnetized, but yeah, I'm going out of town on the weekend, so I'm gonna take some models with me to work on, as you do, and I need to have some slightly more secure storage than what I got. I think I'll use this one. And I have some like pretty good magnet trays already, but not all the Spires minis, 100 Kingdoms minis are magnetized yet, so I figured, okay, this is a little old and firm. I think this one might be dead. I haven't used green stuff in a while. This is always what happens, is you take out your green stuff, and it's been so, or this always what happens for me. I take it out, and it's been so long since I've needed to use green stuff that all the stuff I have has dried up. I'm just tearing this by hand. We only need like a little bit. It's just to give the magnets a bit more contact when they're being glued to the base. Some people work with green stuff all the time for cool kit bashes and just custom work. It's never an area I focus too much on. I've, had occasion to use it a few times though. I think I've probably used milliput more, so milliput and green stuff are kind of like different tools in a way. So we're just gonna roll this into a little green spaghetti noodle now. I'll put these in frames so you can actually look at them while I'm rolling this green stuff. This is like a tray that I'll be like going off screen to refill with more minis that need magnets. Like, I have a decent amount of minis to do to make this stream last probably the regular amount of time, and if it doesn't, I'll probably... well, we'll see how I'm feeling when I'm done with the magnetizing. I might... But, if I feel like the stream hasn't been going long enough, I can always just grab the abomination. The painting stuff is all still on the desk. The abomination will be getting some magnets for its base as well, of course. welcome to the few new people that have shown up. All the wargaming, or the probably the period of my life where I did the most wargaming was, I think, probably like 2015 to 2019, we'll say. And so much of my army transporting to and from the store was with foam bags, which is like, it was the standard for a while, but like the real fancy guys at the gaming club, they had magnetized systems, whether it's DIY or like paid for magnet transport cases. And over the years, those have obviously just become more and more popular because, you know, ordering the magnets and stuff is a little bit of a pain in the ass sometimes. Oh, there's burp 1. But it's not like, if you're doing it the DIY way, it's, and like making the transport cases yourself, it's pretty cheap. It's just, you know, more annoying because you gotta do it all DIY. It takes more time. So that's the route I'm going because I have to be frugal to enjoy the hobby right now. But I do have some trays that came with the Frontier Wargaming case when they sponsored me. I guess that was about a year ago, just under a year ago, was when I did the Pop-Tart Gundam Artifact Nightingale. The award-winning, oh, that feels good to say, the award-winning Gundam Artifact Pop-Tart Nightingale. Okay, this green stuff is almost good to go. Hopefully I don't have to mix more. I think we can roll this into a pretty small noodle here. We only need like a little bit for each model. So we gotta roll this pretty long. Could grab like the hobby knife or something to cut it and like pre-cut it into like ready to go slices, but I think I can just tear it off with my fingers as I go. This is another kind of one of those experiment streams because it's like, you know, I just came back to streaming yesterday and I'm like, all right, well, let's just try, like, because today was a little hectic. I couldn't, like, by the time I got home from doing stuff, it was like, well, after I had wound down a bit, it was like almost 7, so I'm like, okay, well, I don't have time to get the stream going at the same time as last night. I'm like, what if I just like spontaneously start a stream and don't like promote it as much beforehand, and it can just be a fun little magnet stream, because it was because I realized I needed to get all this magnetizing done before I go on the road trip so that I can more safely transport the minis with me so I can get painting done while I'm away. It's only a little 6-day trip, but you know, that's a pretty long amount of time when you're in that YouTube life. And I feel like I'm perpetually behind. I don't want to get behind on work if I don't have to. But hey, painting out in the woods, I mean, I'm not gonna be in the woods, I'm gonna be in a house, but it's like a little vacation where you can paint is good too. It's not exactly a vacation I'm going on. I'm helping doing some landscape maintenance, preventative measures for next year's forest fire season. Wow, look at my noodle rolling skills. This would be a fun thing to show fast forwarded in a time lapse, wouldn't it? Okay, this is kind of the length we're going for. I think we can go a little bit skinnier though. How's this ASMR? I don't know if you can hear the noodle thwacking against the mat. Oh yeah, that's nice and thin. Excellent. I also figured out tonight when I was organizing the minis into which ones needed to be magnetized and which ones could wait until the next magnet order came in. because, you know, the last time I ordered magnets, I didn't order enough. Typical wargamer. I allotted the amount of 100 kingdoms that are gonna get painted for the video. Thanks, Rincewind Rue. The soft sound of my knuckles rolling against the mat. We need to get this one skinny enough so we can hear that slapping noise again. This won't be the whole stream, I promise. I forget what I was saying. Oh, right, so I allotted the amount of 100 Kingdoms models that are gonna get painted for the video. I don't think I'll give, like, an exact rundown of it in this stream. That'll probably be something I do in the next Patreon vlog. I've been doing those pretty like, about one a week, by the way. Self-promotion there. Burp, too. Wow, there's just so many different sounds in this stream. I see, I just gained a viewer. I hope they came in time to hear that burp. Now we got a little bit of hard yellow putty in here. I think I need to just get that out. Yeah, I've got the amount of 100 kingdoms where I'm gonna paint it and then say, okay, it's time to stop and start editing video because this has been taking too dang long already. It's ironic because I've been, you know, taking some time away to play Conquest with real people and socialize, which is making the Conquest video that I really have been wanting to get done for a while take longer, but it's because I'm playing Conquest, so it's fine. You know, it's all just research for the video, right? Oh, we got some noodle breakage. There's a bit of that peak ASMR. Yeah. Okay, hopefully that's enough noodling around. Let's put them somewhere on the mat where you can see them for the stream. Just make sure that the other green stuff is sealed up nicely in this bag so it doesn't dry up. I should probably get a better solution for this. That's something to figure out after the stream. Okay, we got our super glue. Hopefully we don't run out. Often I'll have some backup super glues with me, but I already used those up when I was building models the other day. I should probably get toothpick out. Usually I need one of those. Alright. So I'll just try and remember to give a quick little peek at each model as I go through and magnetize them. Lay them on this side of the mat and then put them back in the tray as we go. I've got a few different sizes of magnets, so I'll show those off in a second. The bigger, stronger magnets I use for the things that need to be more stable, etc. Move this like that. Oh, burp 3. Does that exposure look good enough? Yeah, probably camera a little bit. Go just a bit brighter. Alright, so for the sizes of magnets, can't remember the exact size of them off the top of my head. See, we got 3 different kinds here, a decent amount. I'm not sure if I have enough for my entire conquest collection. The baggies with the sizes for those magnets are over there, so if you really want to know the size, ask me later. I'm sitting down about to get started. I don't want to get up and get them. Very understandable. Rincewind. Thankfully, you have this very entertaining stream to watch with the unique ASMR, and you can just watch me work on my conquest stuff. And then when you're done with your 40k backlog, you can think about getting your own. Okay. Well, I'll just get going. The bound clone leader model is not super tippy, so we'll use the smallest magnet. It's been probably a month or so since I've did a bunch of magnetizing on the other stuff, so I need to remind myself. They can't be glued right onto the divot in the base there, because then it doesn't sit exactly flat. So there's like a little divot there. Alright, so then the base won't sit totally flat, so just kind of test it. I can't see when I do it there. So I just kind of test it by making sure the base isn't wobbly. I think if it was right on the middle, then it might be. Or maybe not, who knows. Either way, as long as it's close and not like close-ish to the middle and not right up on the edge, that's what we want. So I'm just ripping off a little piece to make just a little dollop of green stuff. Put that on the magnet. I think I need to move this up a bit. And then my hands will more naturally rest in a spot where they stay in focus. And then I'll just add a little dab of super glue on here. Place the magnet there, attempting to not get super glue on your fingy. And then gotta press it down into the mat in a spot where it's smooth. Just press it down firm so it dries into an even position. Now I also have the tray over here where I'm gonna leave it to rest and just like press it down and smooth it around to make sure it's at a good, nice, flat level. I'll probably test or do a couple and then test it on the actual magnet sheet in a minute to make sure I didn't mess anything up. Alright, now here we've got the chapter mage for the 100 Kingdoms. Fancy lady. She is not top heavy or tippy at all, so we can also just use a small magnet. Yeah, this super glue bottle, I don't know, maybe I'm like half or 2/3 of the way through this super glue bottle, but the nozzle itself has seen better days, as super glue nozzles often do. Alright, now we have, this is one of the retinue kit bashes for the arcane retinue that accompanies the chapter mage. One of my kind, friendly local players donated this Age of Sigmar bit. I can't remember the name of what this little creature is called, but it's a silly little snail shell with a unicorn horn and little legs. So I didn't buy any of the new Cities of Sigmar models, but when I saw a picture of that thing, I was like, I kind of want that. Thankfully, someone was able to help me out with that. Because we were just, you know, at a conquest game meetup, a few of us were just talking about the new Cities of Sigmar models. And naturally, that little guy came up. That's right, it's the Purple Cap Bob Smith Industries Instacure Plus. It's the purple mediums one. There's like the pink one you can get. That's the extra thick kind. I don't usually use that one. Reminded me of something else. I should put the cap on this. Alright, next one in the pile here. This is the Ward Perceptor. He's a little bit more wobbly, so I think we'll use the medium-sized magnet for this one. Do we want to use the medium, or do we want to splurge and use a large? We have a decent amount of large ones. This shield of his is decently heavy, so what the heck? Or are these large ones too big for these bases? Not really. It does seem a little excessive now that I have it on there, though. So we'll do a medium size. Okay, this will be the fourth one, so I'll grab a stand that's already gotten the magnet strips put on it after this to just test to make sure I've got the levels and the amount of glue right. Where's that toothpick? Should probably do one more actually to give that one time to dry. Here's the Forearms Kit Bash. He's already had a bit of painting done on him. I think that was mostly due to just having some, having some paint left over on the palette I needed to use, and it was nearby. The kit bashes are supposed to be ones I've designated as like streaming projects, so I tried to avoid painting them on stream, but you know, a few brush strokes here and there doesn't hurt. We're also using a medium-sized magnet on this one because he's like a little heavy to one side, just a tiny bit. If anything, when I do a magnet reorder, I probably won't bother with the medium size. It's not... I think it would make more sense to just order a bunch more of the small and the large size. Those would be the more useful ones in the long run, I think. Okay, I'll grab that test stand. I'm not completely settled on whether this is going to be my long-term solution. These are like the adhesive magnet strips that you can buy for photos or to print like fridge magnets or whatever from the stationary like Staples store. It's called Staples here in Canada. Okay, so that we got 8x2 magnets, so that'd be millimeters. 6x2 and 6x2. No, that doesn't make sense. I guess to actually remember the size, I'd have to dig up the order email. Alright, let's give it a test. That appears to be magnetized. So the solution's decent. I mean, this model's pretty light, an easy test, but it's not like so strongly magnetized that you can like totally tip it over and have it stay on. But like realistically, you don't need to be able to like flip the stand over and shake it and have your minis stay on. That's just like for demonstration purposes, for like extra strong magnets or whatever. One downside of having super strong magnets is sometimes you can grab a model and it pulls the base with it. Or like if you grab the model wrong, like if I grabbed it by the bow and pulled it off the base, if the magnet's too strong, there's a chance I could snap the bow or like other similar fragile pieces off. So that's one advantage I've learned of like having a weaker hold. The hold only really needs to be strong enough for moving it around on the table. And sometimes like if two minis with spears collide into each other, if the hold on the base is weaker and the model just goes off the base like that, there's less chance of it breaking than if it like collides and they both have strong holds on their bases. That's just a random, not random, that's just a whole tangent I went on because of, you know, I think about magnets a lot, I guess. Guess I should test this one holds a slightly chunkier magnet. You see the tip in there. But it's a solid hold for if you're just yeah, this one's a little uneven. It's probably, whoops. It's probably from unevenness on the stand itself. But these can always be removed and replaced with something more effective. You know, like if I had a metal disc on the base itself, that would be very strong. But that might be too strong for my preferences. We'll have to see someday. Yeah, or rip them off right at the ankles. Another Nate, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I think that's the end of the magnet rant for now. Oh yeah, the thing I was forgetting to say is you can put them on, if you have like a strong enough metal sheet, you put them on, you can put them on like that and it'll hold through the layer of plastic. Actually, I've got the tray right off the side of the table, so I can just demo that real quick. That's right, Juanito. I got magnets on my mind tonight, so this is the Frontier Wargaming magnetized tray I was talking about. So they all like, I wouldn't trust this solution for bringing on an airplane, really, but I don't plan on traveling on an airplane with 2 conquest armies, or even a single conquest army. That would be very stressful. And if I did, like, you know, I would ideally have time to prepare beforehand and figure out a solution just for that trip specifically. So as you can see, this holds well enough for just like putting it in the car and carrying it in the store. And if I want to be extra secure, I can just put it on the tray itself and it holds stronger because there's less stuff in the way. Okay, that's probably the end of the magnet rant now. So we'll test that one. Okay, back to actually putting magnets on things. Yep, steel baking sheets. Definitely seen people, or the first time I saw someone bring their War Machine army on a baking sheet into the store, my mind was blown. It was just like, why didn't I think of that? Because you can, like I had been buying magnets already to like magnetize the weapon option parts on my war machine models, and I know people do that with their 40k vehicles a lot. But you know, magnetizing is a lot more common now. This here's the catabolic node for the spires. He's a little top heavy, so we'll give him a medium-sized magnet. I have like Tupperwares or like plastic containers for documents that I use for transport, and I need to get some metal sheets for them, and from the hardware store and probably cut them down a bit, or get my dad to help with his tools, because I don't think I have the tools to do so. Right now I started, or my trial was to use the like larger sheets of magnet strip stuff for like, it's meant for like if you want to print your own fridge magnets or something, and those do work a little bit, but they're just not strong enough to I'm still carrying the cases and making sure they're staying very level and being careful with them. I don't really trust the fridge magnet sheets to hold that strongly, and they don't. But you know, you live and learn. Burp 4. I should have turned that burp into like the live and learn sentence somehow. That would have been better, Liam. Yeah, here we got, this is a kit bash that started off as a kit bash for the Imperial Officer's tactical retinue, but when I play a list where the Imperial Officer is upgraded with the Kiss Farewell, which is like a crossbow, or it's implied to be a crossbow, it basically gives them a ranged attack. I use this model to represent him because this has a pretty good like Imperial Officer vibe to him, right? Imperial Officer with a shotgun. I gave him like a bunch of extra bits for all his like special ammo types and potions or whatever, some smoke bombs maybe, and he is fine with a small magnet. Yeah, I can believe that. Another name. The thing or like, if you had a pair of metal shears, would it be easier to cut through like a piece of strike metal from the hardware store than compared to like baking sheets from the dollar store? Ah, 2x2 16 gauge steel panels, 30 bucks. Damn. I don't know if I need 16 gauge, but I haven't even, this is a thing I've long since pushed back on the priority task list, because it's like, okay, I gotta finish the video and then I'll deal with finding the proper sheet metal. It's like, so far I've been transporting the armies to the store and just been careful about, that's where I'm like, we're being careful about like taking them in and out of the car and just keeping them level, and I haven't really had any major accidents. There's one time I braked a bit hard on the car and I heard one of the boxes slide and fall over, and I panicked, and then I opened the box in the store to examine it, and miraculously nothing broke, but I think that was just sheer luck. But you know, when I got some time after the video, I will actually make it a secure solution. Alright, we got the Biomancer here, or the Ferromancer here. Let's go with the... Part of me is like, all the Warlord characters deserve to have medium-sized magnets, because they're worth it. We should probably just go with a small on this one though. Right. Oh, I see. Yeah, I saw one of my local players with a sheet metal. He got some sheet metal that it looked like thinner than that, like his weight is a factor in the transport cases too, because I carry them like a few stacked up. I'll have to ask him what he uses, because his like can be they can be a little wobbly and like bow a bit. Let's have another round of testing here to make sure I've been applying these okay. Yeah, this doesn't hold that strong if there's only one mini in the tray. But if I got, you know, the more I put on there, the stronger the hold becomes. But yeah, the official Parabellum magnetized stands, they have a magnet that goes in the stand and one that goes into a slot in the mini. And like if you want to take the mini off the stand for those, you have to like secure the base first and then grab it to gently pull it off. If you grab it like this, it would like take the whole stand. And that could lead to broken models in my experience if you're not careful, but you know, not having the stabilizing powers of magnets can also lead to broken models in a different way. Alright, we got the Ward Preceptor. I think we're going to give him a medium-sized magnet. Oh, and you won't have to deal with the galvanized coating. Gotcha. There's an army transport system that Parabellum was collaborating with another company with. That has like a proprietary stand system that's like clamp based and clamps onto the lips or the edges of the bases and secures them that way, and then those stands have a way to clip into the case, so you can have like a really efficient, stable army transport system. The main issue I had with it was that it would kind of interfere with the basing material you would use on your stands. Like if you're gluing sand on it, I could easily see sand like getting into the, because there's like a twist mechanism or like lever mechanism to clip the minis into it. I can see like sand actually getting in there and like messing it up. The model I saw, that was a prototype, so maybe they'll change it. Or there's like a few different kinds there, so they're still working it out. But if that was the system where you had like a really like simple and durable way that you paint your stands, that'd be like a very stable and efficient transport solution. Okay, I grabbed this small magnet by instinct, so what's one I think this Kit Bash, the crossbow sword shield guy. He only needs a small magnet. And I think all the other ones on here are at least going to use medium or larger, except for the Mimetic Assassin. That'll be the last one with a small magnet. Yeah, this mini is probably the best example of one where you don't want it to have a really strong magnet hold. Oh, this burp 5. I managed to mix that one into a sentence. Nice, Liam. Because this one's attached to the base here with such a thin like ankle joint that if it was just sitting on the stand and you went and grabbed it, and if the magnet's got a really strong hold, it's just going to increase the chance of this snapping here. So we definitely want the smallest size of magnet on this one. Hello, GS Tyler. Welcome to the magnet zone. Damn, this has a 2017 trademark on the base. It must have been developing the bases at least 2 years before the game actually came out. Crazy. Okay, let's grab, this is an example, probably out of the whole Spires army, this one is probably the one that tips over the most. It's the most annoying. You can see how it's held at an angle there, which I think when I tried to glue it, that was like the only way I could get it, or like it seemed like the most reasonable way I could get it in, but you know, that was probably, I probably could have done better in hindsight. I did glue some rocks to the base to try and counterweight it, but it is still quite wobbly. So we definitely want the largest size of magnet possible on this one. And I haven't used a big one like this yet, so I need to test to make sure it can still sit flat okay. Looks like it. I think it'll probably be most effective probably on the back side. Maybe by his foot. In hindsight, it's kind of surprising that like, or there weren't more. Maybe it's probably because of a rules regulations thing, because magnets can be dangerous. It's like there weren't a ton of, like in the, I'm thinking the pre-Age of Sigmar days. I don't remember there being a lot of companies like bigger companies that would offer products in like to distributors and in stores for hobby magnets. Like there was a few at my local store, but they're always pretty pricey. Yeah, even just gluing the magnet on there, you can tell it's a lot more stable. Oh yeah, perfect. I guess maybe the magnet market was always just solved by the cheap Asian companies you could order cheap rare earth magnets from bulk that people were already ordering from that weren't wargamers. That's probably what happened. Alright, and then this standard is obviously a lot more balanced than the last ones. Like this one I could get away with them. I'm just thinking like, well, I have a lot of large magnets still. I might as well keep using them for the standards. Let me just glance over, assess the size of everything. The large ones are good for brute size base models. Yeah, what the heck, I'll use a large one. You're hungry, Goblin. Do you have anything you can eat then? I was a real gamer and I finished off a bag of Doritos before this stream. It's a bag I've been working on for a couple weeks though. It's like the Costco size bag. So there was only a bit left. I didn't like slam a entire bag in one sitting as stream fuel. You know, if I was slamming a bag of Doritos and then said like, alright, I'm gonna go stream, I think most people would assume I was playing some hardcore shooter game. I don't know, you tell me, chat, what's the most Doritos energy video game right now? Is it Fortnite? Fair enough, Goblin. It's only 9:30 where I am. Okay, that one's like, you can see, you put it down here, it's like a little wobbly, so the magnet is glued on just a little unevenly. But it looks like pressing it down a bit more there helped. If it doesn't sit like 100% flush, if it's only 99%, that's fine, honestly. And the force-grown drone fleshy standard bearers, the way I assembled them, they're pretty decently balanced. Slightly more top heavy than the last one, but I'm just gonna keep using the large magnets for now. I know now that I've been doing a decent chunk of magnetizing, I can definitely say that I've got enough magnets for the amount of stuff that's going to be painted by the time the conquest video is done. And looks like we'll probably have to order some more to magnetize the full armies. That's pretty low priority though. Hello, Artichard, thank you. Oh yeah, that's another good point, another Nate. Another good point from another Nate. My first experiences were with rare earth magnets, would have been in the mid-2000s. Getting them is from some sort of science kit Christmas present or something as a kid. Which is funny in hindsight too, but I wasn't given them when I was like so young of a kid that there was like serious risk of me swallowing them or anything. Like I was old enough to know magnet responsibility. This guy is a leader model with a standard on his back, but because his pose is very dynamic, we'll say he's a little front heavy. So I think that means we'll give him a medium-sized magnet, because he's not as crazy unbalanced as the standard bearer from his unit, which is the Vanguard clones. They've been the easiest thing to paint lately. I fully took advantage of all the textures present with my Spires army and go for like a quick tabletop quality scheme. Not quite slap chop. If I wanted to be even faster, I suppose I could do slap chop, but I guess I'm a little stuck in my ways. And I also don't have a lot of, I don't really have any. I have like one contrast paint. Oops. I have one contrast paint. Oops, I'm getting super glue on my thumb. That's not good. Yeah, I have one contrast paint and then I bought the contrast medium. And if you invest in like a whole bunch of contrast paint to like get a whole new color scheme going, that's pretty expensive. Alright, I can do this over here. You can partially see it. If you didn't see it earlier, I like have the tray and I make sure it's like a smooth surface so I can move the base around and make sure it's not wobbly before that green stuff solidifies. Hello, Robert. That's okay, you don't need to be sorry. Glad you could make it when you can. Okay. High Clone Executor, he's decently balanced and only needs a medium-sized magnet. Oh, you're dismantling your first burnt out hard drive. That's a cool way to experience rare earth magnets for the first time. Oh, and Goblin armored cores change the way you perceive time. That's fair. Baldur's Gate 3 has done the same for me, and as Total War did in the past. Total War changed the way I perceive time more than Baldur's Gate 3 has so far. I don't have Baldur's Gate 3 installed right now because, you know, I got conquest work to do. Alright, and these two standards, I'll just get both magnets out. We'll do two large ones. Whoops, should have been more careful about that. Sometimes magnets get stuck together, just two of them, and it's hard to wrench them apart. You're brushing on turquoise contrast over lead belcher. You left it too dark. Gonna try airbrush it on over brass tomorrow so it's lighter. What are you painting? Oh, and Robert, I forgot to say that you haven't missed much streaming lately, because last night was like my return to streaming after an absence for, I feel like it's been about a month. So there hasn't even been much to tune into. But there is now. Oh, right, that Gundam artifact. I remember you telling me about that now. Was it the Bilorent? Probably have to start being a bit more mindful of the green stuff, or maybe mix up some more. Might not be enough to last all the minis I got, but you know, it's only like a 5-10 minute disruption to mix up more green stuff. Oh damn, sorry to hear you broke your foot. Glad you're doing fairly great other than that though. Okay, that current tray is finished. Just I'm gonna go right over off camera to grab some more minis to magnetize. Sorry, I should have put the holding screen up. This will take a minute. Just a minute though. I have to put them in another tray because otherwise sometimes drying super glue can leave a weird frosty look if you don't let it air out properly, so I don't want to put them down onto the nice mat I have and have it leave some super glue frost, you know? Okay. Well, here's the abomination from last night. Now this one, it's not terribly unbalanced, but it is fairly big, so we're gonna put at least 2 magnets on it. Probably 2 large ones, maybe 3. Hello, Hugo. What do you do, Goblin? Do you keep binging Eureka 7 or play Persona or Minecraft? I mean, out of those options, it's probably either the Persona or the Eureka 7. I've only seen, I think, like 8 episodes of Eureka 7. I've watched Blue Parappa play a lot of Persona 5. Which Persona game are you talking about exactly? Yeah, another night they got those super glue fumes. Depending on the session, they can get pretty intense. I have my regular air purifier going, like usual, and the window's also open. Well, Robert, I would time yourself building a couple high grades, or give your best estimate on how long you think it takes you to build a high grade on average, and then figure out what you think an hour fair hourly wage, or how much you want to be paid per hour to build Gunpla, and then price it out that way. I think most commissions stuff, or most people do commissions for the stuff beyond the straight builds, like the customizing and all that, but I'm no expert in that field or anything. Or everyone kind of does commissions in their own way, and there's no like set rules to it, so. So don't let me stop you. Alright, I think we'll go 2 magnets kinda sorta in the middle. I feel like 2 will be strong enough. Whoop. Quickly before that one sets too much. Okay, I gotta take these other ones out of the tray so I can use the tray to smooth it out. I just grabbed a bunch of Vanguard clones and forest grown drones, and there's more after this where that came from. Alright, I'll give that a moment to dry, and then we'll test it out on the magnet tray. I think this one has a pretty dynamic pose, personally. Showing off his abs. Or their abs, I should say. Yeah, another Nate, that's a good succinct way to put it. Time is, or to quote the goblin from World of Warcraft, or generic goblin NPC from World of Warcraft, time is money, friend. Hopefully I get that reference right. I used to play a lot of World of Warcraft, but it's been a while. Well, I can't really give you a dollar amount recommendation, Robert, because our situations are too different. But I will say that I can't imagine anyone wanting to commission the building of a high grade if it's going to take longer than a day. I think you would have to at least get your building speed up to doing a high grade in a day. I think it's fair to take multiple days. This is like from, you know, if you're building just for your own enjoyment or whatever, it can take 3 months to build a high grade. It doesn't really matter. If someone's paying you to build a high grade though, I would say you should, as a customer, you'd expect at least, or like for building time, obviously if you need to ship it somewhere, it takes more than a day, but in terms of time spent building, like no more than a day. You know, that can, I guess, be spread out over multiple days if you only got like 1 hour to work on Gunpla a day. But I know me personally, well, I mean the average high grade, I suppose, I don't know what you would call the average high grade, but you know, there's the high grades I can get done, and there's probably some stream evidence of like a snap build I did on stream and it took like 3 hours to do start to finish, but depends on whether you include like adding Gundam marker to that or whether you put the stickers on. You know, every commission, I think, as far as I know, when most people do commissions, the price varies each time because it really depends on the project. You know, with commissions for art, digital art and stuff, it's a lot easier to set a level price, because it's like, I will do, you know, a pixel artist can be like, I'll give you a pixel art profile picture for this much money, and it'll be these dimensions and look kind of like this. You know, like if both my Spires army and my 100 Kingdoms army were commissions, the Spires army is a lot, at least the way I'm painting it, it's a lot faster than painting the 100 Kingdoms army. So I wouldn't want to say like, I can do a conquest army for this much money, because painting a conquest army can mean a lot of different things. Like 100 Kingdoms army can be a ton of infantry models that would be very tedious, or it could be like an all horse list with a much lower model count. But like those models themselves are a bit more detailed. It's like some people can paint horses faster than infantry, some people can paint infantry faster than horses. Yeah, it's fair not to want to overcharge others, but it's also just as fair to not want to undercharge yourself. Gotta keep that in mind. I've just been defaulting to putting the small magnets on all these troops. They're all fairly safe from tipping. Let's test the abomination now. I think it's probably dry enough. Maybe a satisfying snap. Oh yeah. Yeah, look at that. That 2 magnets is definitely enough. That's pretty heavy duty. There we go. Definitely don't need a third one. Yeah, it is possible to set up some kind of mechanic book style like that. If I had a official Millennial Model Mayhem website going right now, probably set up something like that where I could have, you know, a page dedicated just to commissions, be like, have like average prices. But even then, I would personally want to add some sort of disclaimer on the website somewhere that's like, this is a general price. I would need, like, we'll go by the price in the actual official quote I give you when we begin correspondence. You know, hopefully something a bit less wordy than that, but you know what I mean. Yeah, they might have a build time on the box, but it's like, it really depends. Everyone builds kind of at their own pace. You know, some people like to build and do the sanding before they put anything together. Some people like to go hardcore and just clip out all the pieces and put them in a big pile and then sort through them, build them more like Lego. Usually I don't bother with sanding unless it's a kid I know I'm painting, as you probably heard me say before. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if the Gundams had a build time on the box or in the manual. Oh, we got both of our 3-armed leaders here. I'm pretty happy with how these kit bashes came out. So these kit bashes are only done to represent the leader model in First Blood. In the First Blood variant of Conquest, because when you're playing them in Last Argument of Kings, the unit doesn't actually get the leader bonus attack. But, you know, it's not really a problem to have them on the stand. Oh, do you remember which Gundam it was that you built in 2001? My first experience with Gunpla was, yeah, I was a really little kid. I don't have it anymore, and it was, yeah, some kind of push fit one like that, and I just like tore the pieces out of the runner. I was probably like 11. And I didn't like build a Gunpla again until 2017. But I always appreciated Gundam from a distance and watched a lot of anime. Alright, good night, Robert. Nice. You're always a seasoned builder then. The white one. That could describe plenty of Gundams. It's probably the RX-78-2 if I had to take a guess. A wild guess. Oh, the Gundam Wing, nice. A classic. That's a very 2001 Gundam. Use the toothpick here so I don't accidentally get a bunch of glue on my fingers. When it comes to like assembling the actual minis. Okay, that one, the piece of green stuff actually fell off. It might be too late to get this magnet off. Nope, we're good. Disaster averted. Forgot what I was saying. I got distracted by the almost botched magnet. Oh yeah, it's easier to not get super glue on your fingers when you're magnetizing bases compared to when you're assembling the minis. Usually after I've assembled a unit of miniatures, my hands are like encrusted in super glue. A relatable experience for many, I'm guessing. So far it looks like I might awkwardly have to mix like a little bit more green stuff towards the end. It looks like we only made it to 5 burps. I've been out of Coke for the last little while. We might not break the record of 6 from last time. I don't remember what the legacy burp record is. Maybe 9, 8. Those have to all be unofficial records now because I didn't use the burp counter back then. Alright, time to refill the tray with another round. Oh, Hero's Death Scythe? No, Hero has the Gundam Wing. It's, oh geez, I can't remember the pilot of Death Scythe now. I guess I'm a fake Gundam fan. Alright, we got the rest of the spires that need to be magnetized now. You know, until the rest of it gets painted. The stuff that like isn't even primed or based yet, that's like just poster tacked to the stands for stability. Those ones probably won't get magnetized until the second round of ordering. We'll see though. Oh, Duo? Yeah, Duo Maxwell, that's who. Yeah, Gundam Wing. That's the iconic Gundam Western breakout show. Such a hot mess of a show, too. He gave up on it as soon as he heard about SD. Yeah, there's a really janky SD Gundam show from the early 2000s. I can't remember what it's called. SD Heroes or something. It's pretty goofy. All that really goes on with SD now is just there's like cheap series of model kits. I guess there are some SD shows, probably, but like I don't watch them. Gundam has a very different vibe from, you know, I'm assuming that you were like a Warhammer, into the Warhammers first and then the Gundams. It did age like milk. But the designs of the Gundams themselves age like wine. It's just the show that aged like milk. But also some of the moments in the show that are like really dramatic and edgy are just like hilarious to watch now. Some iconic memes for sure. Heavy Arms. Heavy Arms is a good boy. Heavy Arms was the first master grade I built, the Endless Waltz version Heavy Arms. Very affordable. I even painted it. Or I painted it pretty horrendously the first time, and then I repainted it in Model Mayhem style for a video, like right when I was getting started with the Model Mayhem style. He became all green and got a little bit of a kit bash. A kit bash where he got a different machine gun, but still had a machine gun on his arm. Hate to admit it though, but Death Scythe is cooler than Heavy Arms. Blue Parappa's the one in the house that collects all the Death Scythe. All the Death Scythe bow. We don't have like every single Death Scythe, but we got a lot of them. Yeah, I'm blowing through the small size magnets pretty fast, so I'm putting the medium ones on a couple of these just cause. I guess it'll be good for this one. It was like posing dynamically on one foot. Oh, almost been streaming for an hour and a half. So I feel like we'll probably be at 2 hours by the time I'm done all the magnetizing, and I don't know, by then I might be out of streaming energy and just do the rest, some other boring work for the rest of the night. I feel like it's a stay up late work kind of night because I didn't get much done during the day. I had some IRL errands to run that got in the way though, to be fair. I've done that, like the painting itself and the basing, I do it in like batches and chunks because doing them all at the same time is a bit much some days. This one's probably more tippy. Oh, I dropped the green stuff ball again. Suncoast. Yeah, I don't know that name. Hopefully that doesn't date me. Whoops. Was Suncoast a subsidiary of Sunrise, perchance? I think there's like 2 stands that need the magnet strips still, or 2 painted stands that need them. So probably I can do those quickly on stream after these magnets. Oh, it's a defunct mall store chain. Nice. So many good defunct mall stores from back in the day. I like the janky independent mall stores though, where they'll just sell like a bunch of random like dragon statues and crystals, maybe some goth clothing, and then you know they'll also have like a used retro video game section or like just a bunch of VHS, you never know. Babbage's and Sam Goody. I don't know those ones either. Are those independent ones you're bringing up? DBZ on VHS. I watched Akira on VHS last week, actually. Random weird millennial flex. That's one of my bespoke VHS that I still have. So I do like collecting physical media, but you know, most of it's Blu-rays, DVDs, and then, you know, some prize VHS. Cause you know, I gotta stay on brand as a millennial, right? People don't throw around the word hipster as much as they used to. Yeah, it was a very cheesy dub. It was a, you know, objectively a pretty bad dub, as many old dubs are. I hated the dub, mostly because, like, you know, I've heard it, the newer English dub. That was probably like the first couple times I watched it, and then the last few times I watched it, other than this latest time, I've watched it in Japanese. So hearing it in like the original English dub was like a bit of an oof. Sometimes it just do be like that, watching anime. Yeah, they probably didn't go north of the border. There's only a select few stores that go north of the border. A lot of the time the companies are like, there's not enough people there, it's not worth it, which, you know, I guess is fair. Nada Seiko, I don't know that one. Unless that was a typo of Nausicaa, as in Nausicaa in the Valley of the Wind. Most studio, or pretty much every Studio Ghibli dub I can think of was pretty solid. Because, you know, it's Studio Ghibli. Oh, so it's just the anime I haven't heard of then. Capacitance electronic disc. Damn. A flop on a movie on a flop of a platform. Hilarious. Supergirl on CED. That's a deep cut. Mecha show, nice. Is it an older mecha show? Like, or is it from the, like, 80s era where all the mechanical animation was just drop dead gorgeous? Oh, it's satire. That made me think of a satire. It's like space anime show with like short 5-10 minute episodes called, it's like Space Battleship Tiramisu or like Uchu Senkan Tiramisu. I think there's probably some mech action in that, but it was mostly centered around like an ace starfighter pilot. But it was just like slapstick comedy sometimes. It had a similar vibe to Haven't You Heard? I'm Sakamoto, if you know that anime. Similar vibe, but shorter episodes in a sci-fi setting. 2000-ish, when there were still plenty of bad dubs to be had, but they were starting to get a bit better. I want to watch Gunbuster. I've had Gunbuster on my list for a while to check out. I'm glad it didn't disappoint. Not that I think it would. I've heard only praise about it, really. Gunbuster's Hideaki Anno show, right? Or he like at least worked on it. Yeah, so it looks like my magnet ordering, in hindsight, I should have ordered more of the small ones and less of the biggest ones. Though I could just, maybe when I reorder, I won't order the small size anymore and I'll just do the medium size for all of them. Something worth considering. Ooh, that was some of that grass got glued on a little too heavily. That grass is looking a little crusty. Have to hide that one in the back ranks. Oh, it's only 6 episodes. Oh, nice. It was, I don't know, and Studio Gynax. Nice. That's pretty iconic just there in itself. Here's an interesting question. I haven't seen Van Dread, but you could consider its satire if you've seen Full Metal Panic. That's a mech show that I have mixed feelings on. I've watched the first season, but that's it, and that was like years ago. It's like has some good mech moments, has some good satire moments, but then also has just a lot of like stereotypical like anime high school hijinks moments with like fan service that's just a little jarring. When you have like gritty realistic mech combat one episode and then like beach episode, or it's like they're in a high-tech like nuclear submarine but the commander is like a cute high school student, or at least that's the vibe she has. It's been a while since I've watched Full Metal Panic. Oh, that sounds pretty hilarious. Martian fry cook that becomes a pilot. Does he have like uncannily good mech piloting abilities? Or does he like almost die every episode? I guess both of those can probably apply in some situations. Girls and Panzer meets Armored Core. But the girls aren't, or if you're talking about that in reference to Full Metal Panic, there aren't that many girl pilots in Full Metal Panic, unfortunately. But Girls und Panzer with Armored Core just sounds like a pretty hilarious concept to think about in general. So, you know, thanks for that. It is easier for me to talk and catch up with the chat when I'm putting magnets on instead of painting, I'll say that. Fired their chips in the microwave. That sounds vaguely familiar. Like I said, I think I watched Full Metal Panic in 2017, so that was 6 years ago. I mostly remember the part when the main character had, someone finds a condom or something and he's like, oh, you can use that to survive in the wild rainforest for 3 days or something to hold water. He's like very deadpan and practical about it. Is season 2 of Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans worth watching? Yes. Yeah, Mikazuki is pretty cold. Yeah, some of the supporting cast is hit or miss. If you enjoy Mikazuki and you enjoyed the like action from season 1 of Iron-Blooded Orphans, I'd say check out season 2. I enjoyed it. It's worth finishing. There's some pretty cool moments. Because Mikazuki doesn't fight the mobile armor at the end of season 1, right? What happens at the end of season 1 of IBO? It's been, I think, 4 years since I watched it. Or I guess IBO spoilers in the chat, everyone. You don't have to answer my question, forget about it. I didn't realize the spoilers. Yeah, when Barbatos fights a mobile armor at some point, and it's very good. I think that's spoilers safe. I think season 2 is when you get to see the Gundam Flauros, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I can get why some of the supporting characters might put you off. There's some, yeah, there is like a couple plot points in season 2 that are a little like, might give you a bit of a double take. But if you enjoyed the first, or you said the first season was hit or miss for you? Or you're half and half on season 1? Alright, thanks for the recommendation, Nate. Hello, Cyber Scorpio 94, thanks for stopping by. Trying to remember the last show that made me cry from laughing. It might have been the first time I watched through Eric Andre. That's a show that can make you laugh until you cry. I don't think it made me laugh until I cried, but I remember Konosuba making me laugh a lot. That was a pretty funny show. Multiple huge incidents. Okay, gotcha. Alright, last of the spires to magnetize, and then we've got a small-ish pile of 100 kingdoms we're going to magnetize. And I might actually have enough green stuff after all. Well, if I've been too conservative with the green stuff and the magnets aren't super flush, then hopefully it's not a big deal. Okay, time to grab the last tray. Well, let's just quickly test some of these to make sure I didn't just do a whole batch that won't even work. To a mismatched amount. Well, those all appear to be holding, so we got a little bit of wobble going on, but that's a acceptable and expected amount of wobble. Oh boy, you didn't say anything about puns. Guess that comes with the territory. Alright, now here I think I have entirely men-at-arms and crossbowmen. Any longer and this green stuff might harden up too much to use. Alright, good night, Sparkster8044. Thanks for watching. That's fair, Cyber Scorpio. There will be as much streaming as I can reasonably provide in the near future. Okay, we got 2 standard bears here. This one is very tippy, definitely needs a large magnet. This one is less tippy, but it's still tippy enough to definitely need a large magnet. Yeah, speaking of streams, should be doing one tomorrow. I think the one tomorrow depends on what I get up to or when I go to bed tonight after this stream. Either I stay up super late and sleep in tomorrow, and then I'll do some stream in the afternoon, or I like wake up early and do like an 8 a.m. 9 a.m. stream like I did with those last few ones for the aerial. Blue Parappa is overseas right now, so I don't have much of a sleep schedule. I mean, I got somewhat of a sleep schedule, but there's no rules. I'm home alone. Not like she enforced a bedtime when she was around. If anything, I was more the person to be like, alright, it's time to sleep. You know, we're both adults. So I'm just pressing that one hard down to make sure the magnet's flush. Maybe I'll have just enough green stuff. Crazy. That never happens. And yes, surprise, this Spires stream has 100 Kingdoms models in it. What a twist. Yeah, if a stream happens tomorrow, it'll either be with the Abomination again, or with, that's a good question, whether I want to do the Kit Bashes next or the Preceptors. Probably the Preceptors. Guaranteed to be a great stream either way though, so you should definitely watch all my streams because they're all great, am I right? Yeah, when I do another magnet order, I probably won't even need to get more large magnets. I probably am set for those for a while, depending on if I make more purchases. Always a risk. This is the Seasoned Veteran. It's a resin character model for the Men-at-Arms. I think he's also, you can also take him with Gilded Legion, I believe. There's a few units in various armies that can take multiple different officers, and especially in Dwagholm. And then Dwagholm has some rule. I think there's a few factions that have various ways to get multiple officers in one unit. Point is, he's fancy, so he gets a medium-sized magnet. The standard leader of the men-at-arms gets a fancy hat and a fancy little baton with some flair to it. Have any of you been noticing new music that I added to the mix in the background yet? I added about 45 minutes of new music. I think it's mostly towards the back end though. I can't hear it though because I don't have headphones on. Because I strain my head a bit if I wear them for too long. So I have no idea where we are in the loop. This leader model for the crossbowmen is like kind of a kitbash, but not really, in the sense that this crossbow was originally attached to an arm, but I wanted him to still like have a crossbow, so I cut it off the arm and carved it up to look like it was just handheld, or looked like the regular crossbow shape. Flush face frame style cabinets are such a pain to do if the frames are built before the cabinet box. Yeah, I bet. Getting super flush cabinets, that must be pretty, you must need to be pretty meticulous with that. I'm still not 100% sure if I am gonna have enough green stuff left. At least I haven't run out of glue. That would have derailed the stream a lot harder. And all these kneeling down crossbowmen, they are all automatically getting the smallest magnet because their profile is so low, it's very balanced already and is not that tippy. Yeah, we went to 3 hours of streaming last night, so I feel okay if this one only goes 2-ish hours. By the time I'm done this, Plamaniac will probably be right at 2 hours, but I'll keep streaming to just fix a couple of the stands with their magnet strips. I'll get the hobby knife out. You can see how I haphazardly cut those up. I need to find a better solution. Maybe I'll try and find one live, or like cut a circle template or something live. I mostly didn't do it before out of laziness. Oh no. The green stuff ended up on my thumb there and not on the actual magnet. It's probably, looks like it's fine though. Probably fine because it's one of the kneeling down ones. Sorry, I haven't been as talkative for this last little chunk of the stream. I'm just in the magnet zone, people. I thought the spontaneous title I came up with for the spontaneous stream was clever. I wasn't I think for a while I was hovering around 6 to 8 viewers, which was more than I was expecting for like the stream that I didn't promote that much, and just spontaneously was like, I don't have the energy to paint, it's magnet time. Also, I suddenly realized that I need to magnetize a bunch of stuff so I can take it on the road to get some work done while I'm out of town. So this had to happen either way. Build the box first, then build the frame to box because it's easier. Oh well. Did so. Someone else built the cabinet. Or someone else built the frames first, so they didn't know this rule, I take it. This will probably be the only magnet stream I'm gonna do though. Because even I realize it's a bit more tedious than the usual stream activities I'm doing. Except for maybe like model cleanup. I don't think I'm gonna, or I'm not very likely to do another stream of those either. But you know, it's like, I gotta stream it at least once. It's always, or it's almost always worth trying out a new thing on stream if you haven't done it before. I'm pretty sure at some point earlier in the year I'd probably thought of this. But I hadn't been, at that point I probably hadn't ordered the actual magnets. Oh, look at that, another Nate. Glad it could work out. Excuse me. Perhaps you'll be able to catch another paint and stream tomorrow. I did mention earlier my potential stream times tomorrow that are earlier, but who knows. I do need to get a lot of cleaning and tidying done before I go out of town, because I don't know about you all, but I'm one of those people that's like, if I'm gonna be going away for a little bit, I want to be able to come back to like a clean and tidy house, because it's just real satisfying, you know. And also like the bathroom's been overdue for a cleaning, and so is the kitchen. You know, when your significant other goes out of town for 3 weeks, you can get a little lazy. Not that I wasn't cleaning before. Even if I lived alone, I'm the kind of person that likes to have a relatively clean living space. Or I'm a chronic tidier. You know, there's been many a time I've procrastinated by just organizing a desk shelf or drawer or something. It's a great procrastination activity. When you just have a bunch of minis on a shelf, you can like rearrange to display nicer, or like, you know, some gunpla repos. Although on that note, that like only, or most of the time, that's only applying to like snap built kits. It's like if there's a posed kit on the shelf, usually that's like It's like, okay, we found the optimal pose for that. We're going to leave it in that pose because it looks nice. And if we repose it, we risk the paint chipping. Or, you know, if it's a really flimsy model kit, you might do the same. So I can have a nice laid back, relaxed posture for the magnet application, I think. Okay, I think I have just enough green stuff left. I'll just divide. I got 4 minis left, so I'm gonna divide this into 4 chunks of green stuff right now and make it work. Yeah, I gotta wonder how much has the stream viewership dropped just because it's been like the same kind of magnetizing the whole time, or just because it's like getting later than I usually stream. Just a curiosity, not something I'm actually concerned with. Okay, those 4 balls should be great. Oh, that sounds rough, Cyber Scorpio. But you're too deep in it now, you gotta commit to the current plan. I take it. The streaming chair I use, it fits a little like tighter into the desk so I can get in a good position for the webcam, but it makes the tailbone hurt a bit more than the other chair. The other chair is like big armrests that like bump into the desk more often and make the camera shake though, and I can't get into a good enough position for the webcam. But it kind of works out indirectly well because, you know, if the same chair is always at the same desk, it gets uncomfortable. If I like switch the desks or switch the chairs between desks every once in a while, it like helps with the back sometimes because a different part of your back gets sore for a while. And when that gets too much, you switch chairs again. Maybe one day I'll just have one chair that's a really nice fit, and it's the perfect chair. Who knows? I need assistance with the toothpick this time. All right, 1 left. Kind of right at 2 hours. My powers of prediction are crazy. And I did end up having just enough green stuff. Or at least I made it work out that way. So that's always satisfying. Although it is fun to roll up the balls of extra green stuff into little boulders to throw into the basing supplies for later. Just make sure the super glue doesn't dry all clogged up or anything. Still got a decent amount of this left, so hopefully the nozzle doesn't get ruined before I use it up. Okay, so I got... I'll show you this stuff. So this is like the adhesive peel-off magnet strip. These are leftover scraps from a sheet I already used up. But, you know, there's still enough there to do all the bases I need. I'll show you what the actual product looks like, because I have another package I haven't opened yet. Or teeth, yeah, yeah, you can definitely make good teeth with green stuff. It's just like these adhesive magnet sheets is what I'm talking about. Then I have like bigger, like more letter size sheets that I use for the transport cases, but as I said earlier, those are not quite getting the job done, so I need to... I'm just gonna put like a metal sheet over top of those that actually holds properly. Alright, this is only gonna last a few minutes really. We got this base here where one of them just fell off and the adhesive got just wasn't good, so I just took it off completely and said I'd put a new one in there. So as you can see, I'm just kind of like cutting out these squares to get the most out of the sheet, but then I do end up wasting a bit to cut the corners so that they can fit in there. So when I do the next round of this for the videos, might try something different. Need the hobby knife though. The last section, which a kitchen island will have its boxes built first. Okay, at least you can do it efficiently for the kitchen island part. Cut once, curse twice, and that's a good one. This is the like custom warlord base I made. I made 2 of these. So I'll probably use the scraps in this one so I can get a bit more coverage than what this looks like. But I might as well just do another one of these quick squares on the regular infantry base. So I kind of see how it looks like there, and then I go, okay, well, let's just shave a bit off the corners. So yeah, this is what I'm doing because I've done a lot of bases like it already, but for the record, it's not my final solution. I think I want to find something better for the next large batch of these I'll do for the 100 Kingdoms. Okay, did I cut the corners enough? Looks like I need to cut them just a little bit more on one side. There's someone at UK Games Expo who had pennies on theirs, on their bases. Which I did think about briefly, but then I'm like, I don't even know where to get enough pennies for that right now. Like, I think if I go through all my possessions right now, I could probably find 3 pennies total, which is funny because it used to be something that you just had a ton of. Alright, gotta carefully peel off the backing. Come on. Come on. There we go. Use this to stamp it down. I've only had one of these peel up so far, but with these, I can imagine like maybe years down the line, if I'm still using them, they would all need to be replaced because they just lose their magnetism and their adhesion. But they're a pretty cheap solution, all things considered, and you don't have to like go to a special, you don't have to do like a specialty order. Like some players in my area have found some like an Etsy shop or an Alibaba place where they have like metal discs you can just buy that like fit into these cavities really well, but getting these magnet strips from the store nearby is a bit like, it's more work to make them work, but it is cheaper. And you know how much I like cheaper, or I kind of like going cheap out of necessity these days. So, you know, when I've got a ton of disposable income and I'm on my like 3rd and 4th conquest armies, I'll splurge for some more fancy transport solutions, perhaps. Or maybe I'll just always be in that DIY frugal hobbyist brain. Perhaps that is more likely. Yeah, I'm just, because the circle shape in here isn't perfect either, I'm just gonna like kind of cut shapes willy-nilly to go in here and just aim to get enough coverage. It doesn't have to look nice because, you know, the mini's gonna be sitting on top of it. I suppose these could be a candidate for like just sticking a magnet in the middle divot right there, but that I don't glue, or like the minis themselves, it's not like they're getting glued with a specific what's the word I'm looking for, or their magnets aren't getting glued in a way where they're like right in the middle. Okay, there's a little bump there that's gonna be an issue. I should try and just get that out of there, flatten that down. Sometimes after cutting off all the corner pieces, sometimes you can use them to like fill in little gaps in between the janky cut strips. MR12 in Warframe, I don't know what that means. I'm guessing that's like level 12 or something, but either way, congrats. Sounds legit. Knockout plugs from junction boxes are those small small metal discs you're referring to. Alright, this one got a little mangled, so maybe this will be the, oh wait, I think I have a perfect size little triangle here to use actually. Yeah, it's also always charming how there's like, you know, lots of people into miniature wargaming or scale modeling who are tradesmen, tradespeople, and then they have like lots of supplies they use in their like day job that can double as hobby supplies. Definitely see that come up a lot. You know, not to mention the whole like, oh well, we all have measuring tapes already thing. Not that you need a measuring tape to be a tradesperson. Okay, let's... get the guideline here. Okay, I'll have to look at the bottom of the box display at the hardware store. Man, I'll be going to the hardware store anyways to get, or I'll probably be going to the hardware store to get a sheet of metal for the cases. That's probably going to be a while out still though. So that's, like I said earlier, the actually getting the video out there's a priority more so. Okay, I should have cut the corner off this before. This doesn't have to go right up to the edge, it just has to be close. I'll admit, you're all witnessing something very jank right now. This is me just using up the scraps from the last session of this I did. That looks like a good triangle to cut. Yeah, washers without the hole in the center. The ones that people in my area were ordering online were like really thin, which was what made them like ideal for conquest, because it, like, they didn't really give the mini the look like it had been raised up a bunch. Because the guy I mentioned a bit ago about who used pennies, it was like really obvious that the minis were like raised up a fair amount, which I don't necessarily find too distracting myself. That depends on how high it's being raised up, I suppose. That's not working. You know, a few millimeters, not so big a deal. 5 millimeters though, that might be a little, that might start to get a little noticeable. But I appreciate all these hardware tips, everyone who's contributing, so thank you very much. Alright, let's see here. If any of you seen that new army transport case that Games Workshop showed, where it's like got a bunch of silicone, I don't even know what you call them, nubbins, tentacles almost. They're meant to like hold the minis in place for transport. It looks very janky. Too. How am I going to pivot this? Okay, that'll work. I can cut a nice long thin strip. I think no matter what base I was using them on, using up these leftover strips would be pretty janky. But I don't want any of it to go to waste. So you're all witnessing just a truly janky hobby stream at this moment. Oh, well, hopefully I can follow up with you at a future stream, Cyber Scorpio, and I'll let you know if I can procure any of these items you describe. Perhaps in late November. Feel like, or maybe mid-November. I'll be a bit more optimistic. Maybe mid-November is when I'll be able to get around to like finalizing my magnet situation. You know, for these armies at least. This is not going well. Okay, we need to cut the corner on this. Truly, I should have just gotten the tweezers out. But I was like, it's just one little base, I'll just get it done quick. Okay, kind of got it there. Finally. Okay, only one last hole to fill up. It's a bit bigger, so hopefully it's easier. I haven't watched Eons of Battle in a good while, but I can imagine him having a pretty good rant about the Games Workshop cases. Or the new ones, that is. They're worth having a rant over. They're pretty silly. Considering, like, Games Workshop, the, like, biggest miniature manufacturer, has, like, historically produced... I mean, they produce some iconic miniature cases, don't get me wrong. I have some in the closet. But their cases haven't always been the most, like, efficient army transport solutions. Or often have not been, I should say. Okay, just need to trim a little bit off the end. What did Eons of Battle have to say about it? When you say rant, I'm assuming he didn't like it. Oh damn, we're at 2 hours, 17 minutes. Truly, this last basing attempt has been a time. And thankfully I didn't cut my finger on camera. Pretty good at handling the hobby knife, I like to think. I think it's been at least a year since, no, it hasn't been a year since I've cut myself accidentally. I've definitely cut myself on the hobby knife this year. Okay, let's just put a quick test mini on here. Hopefully I don't embarrass myself. Oh yeah. This one has a nice big magnet on there, so. Quite a firm hold, if I do say. I just can't turn it fully upside down, but that's fine with me. It's light enough where if I accidentally bump it, it'll tip over and it won't like snap a spear with like an extremely strong magnet hold. Also, this base has a lot of rocks on it, so on these ones I can kind of pick it up. Yeah. Okay, I think that is the most appropriate place to leave the stream. If anyone has any last questions or anything, Now's your chance. I'll just tidy up for a few minutes. Summed up, he said it's silly. Yeah, it's pretty silly. I was a little surprised to see it. It took I had to like do a double take looking at it, be like, what is going on here? Sure, I'm glad I didn't have to mix up more green stuff. Maybe part of the reason why I haven't worked with green stuff a whole lot is because I just don't like mixing it up. It's annoying. A lot of my hobby choices can happen that way. You cut yourself on the piece of sprue. I mean, sprues can be, and like minis can be pretty sharp sometimes. Or like I built at the community Gunpla meetup the other week, I built the Figure Eye Standard Blue Eyes White Dragon kit, and that kit is like actually kind of sharp in some areas. It's a pointy boy, which, you know, it's a pretty majestic dragon, so it deserves to be a pointy boy. Also, just like good model kit, definitely recommend that one if you're thinking of picking it up. Even if I wish it was a Red Eyes Black Dragon model kit. Remember, I still got 2 squares of those. Wrap the we've got to wrap the strong rare earth magnets up in some padding because we don't want the magnets accidentally ruining any electronics. Not that if like I couldn't rub this bubble wrap package on electronics and have it be good or anything, but you know, when it's all bundled up like this and it's in this bag with the other sheet, then I know it's like, okay, these are magnets, be careful. I put them on high up on a shelf away from any potential electronics they'll damage. Okay. Well, thanks again for coming to this silly little, what did I call this stream? Magnet Model Mayhem or something? Oh yeah, After Dark Magnet Mayhem stream. So thanks to those of you who turned up. Should be able to do a stream tomorrow. I just need to figure out the right balance of chores and other stuff I gotta do before I go out of town, so I can't tell you right now whether that stream's gonna be... Say it's most likely to be in the early afternoon or like the evening again. Or maybe I'll just surprise you all and schedule an 8 AM stream before I go to bed tonight. That's probably the least likely option though, but I won't be able to stream Thursday, and then Friday I go out of town for like 6 days, I think, so I definitely want to do another stream tomorrow. So yeah, next week there probably won't be any streams, maybe on the weekend, probably not though. I'll be reunited with Blue Parappa, so I'll probably just want to spend time with her. But after that, I'm hoping to just, you know, keep the stream train a-going, because I'll have a decent chunk of painting to do with the 100 Kingdoms models. And then we'll be video editing. Yeah, that's very true, Cyber Scorpio. Remember, everyone, that lacquer thinner and cuts don't mix well. Okay, well, good night, and I'll talk to y'all soon.